Fantasy Blind Spot, where we shine the light on what you can't see. He's a cornerstone piece. He's a guy you're going to want on your fantasy team.
It's all about them splash plays.
Oh my God, did that just happen? I can't believe he made that catch.
He's got that big play ability.
The football gods made this guy to play football.
All right, so he's just an explosive runner. He's one of those guys that when he gets in the open space, he just puts his foot in the ground and he's gone. Shine the light on things you can't see. I am the Blind Guy. You can find me on X at the Blind Guy FF. With me, as always, is my co-host, Crazy Canadian Shawn Thompson. You can find him on X at Maximus8911. Thanks everybody for listening. Remember, hit that like, hit that subscribe. How you doing, bud?
Doing all right. How you doing?
Not too bad. It's Friday, and we got another football weekend, preseason, getting to watch some of these rookies. So,
yeah, I don't mind how they're doing it this year.
Yeah, we thought we'd see some different things last year with just having, 3 preseason games again? And we saw a little bit different, but this year the season's actually starting a week later, which throws a whole nother wrench into things, right? So,
well, I just find normally they have games on like a Monday, Tuesday. Like every game, it used to be every day of the week there'd be a preseason game. There was no rhyme or reason to it all. This year they seem to be just doing it on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, not doing
days.
Did they even have Sunday games last week? Because that's the other part.
They had one. Like they don't have many. They just have like one or something like that. It's mostly Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah. So
which I like.
Yeah, I like that too. I'd rather have it a little more concentrated. And maybe it's also because the season's starting on a Wednesday, which is kind of weird this year.
Oh, is it?
Because they're in Brazil or whatever. So we got a Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to open the season this year.
So is the Wednesday game the one that's normally the Thursday game, or is that just totally different and doesn't have the Super Bowl champ in it?
I don't think it has a Super Bowl champ because it's in Brazil. So I think Thursday is the regular one and Wednesday is the Brazil game. And then I think there's also a game Friday. You never know. These schedules, man, they're crazy.
I like football better when it's all on one day, man. Sunday and Monday, that was the perfect freaking time. Now you're adding all these other days. Like, it's just, you're going to lose fans as far as I'm concerned.
So I don't mind the Thursday games now. Like, they've gotten better since they've made them division games. I know it's still not great for the players, but I like the Thursday, Sunday, Monday. But when you start getting into like that Christmas week and like championship for fantasy weeks, and you've got like 4 or 5 days of games because it's like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're like, come on. Man, half our matchups sometimes, if you have one of those big guys, like, was it 4 years ago, Kamara had that 6 touchdown game on Christmas?
Yep.
Like your matchup was over by that game.
Oh, yeah. I had him going in that championship. I was just laughing, going, Jesus. It's that
was the first game.
You have it all, especially like the fantasy purposes, right? Like if you have just the Sundays and the Mondays, it's a lot better because then you get everything Sunday. You kind of know where you're sitting. And then Monday night, you know what you need to watch for in that game because there's only the one game.
Yeah, exactly.
But we got some games we could talk about. There's only 2 last night. So the first one we got here is the Las Vegas Raiders, who had Fernando Mendoza do the first half and AOC do the second half, won 22-20, but it wasn't because of Mendoza. He went 8 for 15, 86 yards, and no touchdowns in an interception. So he finished. The Texans were up 20-3. Then they switched it all around. AOC came in, brought back the Las Vegas Raiders with a couple touchdowns. He played all right, but I would expect him to play a little bit better myself personally because he has that experience in actual NFL games, not just preseason games.
Right.
But what screamed to me from this game and Mendoza's time was Kirk Cousins is definitely starting out as week 1 starter.
Well, I think they've already said that. I don't think Mendoza necessarily. Okay.
No, Kubiak at the press conference said that he's got 1 more week before he has to name a starter, and he won't do it until after the 3rd preseason game.
Okay, see, I thought they had already said, like, the plan is for Cousins to start, and he's going to. One thing that stood out to me in this game, not just Mendoza's play, but this was all second team. He didn't have any of the first team out there except for, I think, Jalen Naylor, maybe a couple of the skill position guys, but it was the second team offensive line for Mendoza. But he was also going against the second team defense for the Texans, which to me, I think this said more about the Texans' depth than it necessarily did about the Raiders. I mean, the Texans are definitely a playoff team. based on what we've seen from them the last few years, the way they're coached. So they are a better team overall. So I would expect them to be better. One of the things that kind of got me was the interception that Mendoza had was a pick six, and it was on a screen to Mike Washington. And it looked like, based on the broadcast, they were saying that Mendoza thought Washington would flare out and sit, and instead he tried to go up the field. And that's kind of what led to the interception and pick six.
Yeah, that's going to happen in preseason, right? That's when you want it to
Yeah.
happen. They're two rookies. They're both learning the playbook. You're going to have those little types of things. But Mike Washington, he played fairly well too. He had 9 carries for 56 yards, and he also caught 2 for 18, and then caused the interception.
Yeah. Yes.
As
he also had a big
side, just like what you said. Other than the depth from the second team, because they're not playing their starters, like that was impressive. But there's nobody that stood out of those second team guys to me.
Defensively or offensively, or
both?
Just both. But yeah. Woody Marks had a good drive in that first drive. He had, I think it was 5 touches for 43 yards when he was working with Stroud, and Stroud got 1 drive. I think he was 5 for 7 for like 49 yards and a touch, not the touchdown, but led a touchdown drive. So Texans starting to look like they are a well-coached team, right? And that's what you see in preseason. Fewer mistakes, looking like better football overall. And that's what we saw from the Texans here in this game.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll move on to the next game, which is another West Coast team between the San Francisco 49ers and the Los Angeles Chargers. They had joint practices leading up to this, and the whole big talk was how Jim Harbaugh wanted to meet Brock Purdy. But 49ers win this one 41-17. Basically, what is his name? Andre Martinez from the UFL there. He's come over, went to the Jets. Now he's been on San Francisco for the last couple of years. He got a lot of play time. He went 8 for 17. Only had 57 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, though, but he seemed to be running most of it. Stribbling in the last 2 preseason games. This one here, he was 4 for 46. But if you had his other ones, he's been targeted 14 times. He's had 10 catches for 114 yards and I think 1 touchdown. But Keon Black came in after McCormick did, which Sincere McCormick came over from the Raiders. He was there when Pierce was there. Yeah. He did all right, man. 6 for 53 and a touchdown, and he was the first one out there, and Black followed him, and he went 8 for 33. So Black looks like he's going to be all right in this system. So does Sincere McCormick, where I think Sincere McCormick might have pushed himself up to the RB2.
I mean, it's possible. Like that's one of the camp battles I think that's still pretty open just because of all the injuries in that backfield is who's going to be the one to fill in behind McCaffrey. I think also the bigger story from this one wasn't so much the game, but the joint practices you touched on. The Chargers lost their center that they just signed in Tyler Biadasz. They don't know how long yet, but it sounds like he's going to miss some time with that knee injury.
Oh, so, I saw indefinitely.
Yeah, so that just means we don't necessarily know yet. It could be a season, could be a few weeks, could be a couple months. Doesn't sound good, but that also means you're shuffling that whole offensive line again, which was their whole problem last year, right? They lost both tackles. So now you've got a rookie that was supposed to be, I think, a starting guard is now shifting over, and Jake Slaughter shifting over to center, which should be okay. The better fill-in than most teams have, but this offensive line was supposed to be a strength and already dealing with injuries again.
Yeah, they'll come together.
Yeah, I think so too. And especially with McDaniel, I think he'll be able to scheme around that a little more than some of these other coaches might be able to. So I think they'll be all right. It's something to note for sure.
You trust McDaniels a lot more than I do.
Oh, that's for sure. I think we've known that for a while now.
Well, all right. Well, we got a couple things here. One that I don't know why it created a lot of buzz on the social media platforms, but it's ESPN put out their top 10 quarterbacks to own for fantasy.
Okay.
For 2026. And I assume it's seasonal because it's ESPN. They don't really get into dynasty.
Right,
so number 1, they got Josh Allen. And 2, they got Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
3, they got Jaden Daniels. 4, they got Drake May. And 5, they got Joe Burrow.
Right.
You could argue about the order, but that's the 5. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see it going any other way. Mm-hmm. Anyone else slipping into the top 5. And then at 6, they got Jalen Hurts. 7's Jackson Dart. 8's Dak Prescott. 9's Justin Herbert. And 10's Trevor Lawrence.
Okay. So I mean, it's debatable, I would think, but nothing too egregious, I don't think. Do you?
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, there's not like people are like right upset about this. I'm like, what's wrong with it? Like, I wouldn't have Dax in my top 10. I don't think he's a top 10 fantasy quarterback or even a top 10 quarterback in the league, but he would definitely be between that 13 and 15 mark. So it's not like crazy. Justin Herbert, I'd probably have a little bit higher. I'd have Brock Purdy on this list because he's led every friggin' category but Russian for quarterbacks for every year that he's been the quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers. So at some point you got to put respect on his name and get him in these top 10 because he finishes in the top 10 of quarterbacks every fucking year.
Yeah, and you just added Mike Evans. And if Mike Evans can be healthy, which has been a question the last couple of years, especially with his age, but if he's healthy, like, man, the touchdown numbers on those two should be insane. I could see a Devontae Adams, Matthew Stafford kind of season between those two.
Oh, yeah, for sure. All right, what else shall we go on to? Oh, we got Super Bowl odds right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So right now in the NFC, they've got the Rams at 15% to win, the Seahawks at 9%, the Eagles at 6%, the Lions at 5%, and the Packers at 4%.
I'm a little surprised with that Packers number. Is that one of the higher ones?
Not really.
Yeah. So
it's 4%, and then they've got they got the field. So other 19 teams with a 13% chance or less, and then they've got like a whole crap load of teams in here, like the Bears, the Cowboys, the Giants, the Saints, the 49ers, Tampa Bay, the Bengals, like just a crap ton of teams. But the main five, they've got those ones. So I don't know why the Packers are there.
Yeah, it's kind of like 4% doesn't seem all that high. Because initially I was going to say, like, it seems like it's a little high for the Packers, but that's just because you were saying the Packers, and then you hear 4%, and you're like, oh.
Yep. Well, even on the other side, they end with a 4% as well. So on the AFC side, they got the Bills at 10%, so the second highest.
Okay.
Second's the Ravens at 8%. Third's the Chiefs at 7%, which I don't freaking see. 4 is the Texans with 7%, and then 5's the Chargers with 4%.
So they have the Chargers and the Packers with the same odds to win the Super Bowl. I think you could even look at that and go, do you think that's true? Because I don't.
The who?
The Packers and the Chargers?
Yeah. No, I don't either. And like I said, there's this 13% down here, and they've even got the Browns in there. So I don't know what they're doing, but their projected matchup is the Rams versus the Bills.
I mean, it'd be a fun Super Bowl, and I can see it.
It'd give Matt Stafford his second one because we know Josh Allen isn't winning one. He's going on that Dan Marino train.
Well, let's hope not, because he's a fun quarterback.
All right, I got another fun one for you. You got to pick one of these guys.
Okay.
Now, these are not real football players. They are movie star football players.
All right.
And you're picking a running back.
Okay.
So you got Bobby Miles from Friday Night Lights.
Yep.
Wendell Brown from Varsity Blues.
All right.
Petey Jones from Remember the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
Smash Williams from Friday Night Lights.
All right.
Earl Maggot from The Longest Yard.
Yep.
Or Forrest Gump from Forrest Gump.
Oh, man. All right. This is a tough one. There's some good ones on there. Bobby Miles was obviously a fun one. Man. You know what? I think I'm going Earl Maggot from Longest Yard. He was fun. Yeah? Always making people miss. Light on his feet. Speed. Could catch the ball. Yeah, he was a fun one, I think. He was either him or Bobby Miles.
Forrest Gump myself.
Yeah.
He's like
bigger bruiser.
Gataboo with speed and endurance.
That's true. He did run forever.
Just point him that way. And then another thing, since you brought him up, is Mike Evans. This kind of shocked me. I knew Mike Evans had like 10 years in a row of 1,000 yards. So this is the most 1,000-yard receiving yards in NFL history. Jerry Rice is obviously number one. He's got 14 1,000-yard seasons. Mike Evans has 11 at second. Yeah, there's no way he's not going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, man.
Oh, I would have to think so. I mean, he's got the record for most consecutive 1,000-yard seasons to start a career. And that might not even get beat because you could have argued that Jefferson had a strong start with his 1,400-yard rookie season, but then he followed it up with that dud last year from the craziness at quarterback.
Yeah, so, well, it's hard when you don't have a quarterback to get there, but Mike Evans did it without quarterbacks too for the most part.
Well, and I think that's the other thing about Mike Evans that people forget is like how healthy he was. Like he's always been healthy and on the field, and that's one way you have to get that 1,000 yards, right? Like you can make the argument it should be easier with an extra 17 games with 17 total games now, but again, like you still got to be healthy, and even these young guys coming in, we're seeing injuries. Lemon just starting to practice, right? So.
Well, you look at that 17 games, too, man. It's like, okay, yeah, there used to be 14 games, but you rarely threw to the tight end. You hardly threw, and you only focused on your 2 wide receivers on the outside for the most part until San Francisco came along with the West Coast offense in the 80s and kind of changed it and added the tight end and the running back into it. But nowadays, you need 3 wide receivers, 3 good wide receivers, because that slot guy's got to be good. That position's developed.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you got the tight end and the running back. So, yeah, okay, it's more games, but you've got more targets out there that you've opened up the playbooks to.
Well, and especially with what we've seen over the last couple of years, too, it seems to be shifting from big pass plays to, okay, well, let's shift back to heavier personnel and running.
Yeah, because they've gone with 2 high safeties to stop the pass game. But but it's still one of my greatest fantasy decisions, man, when Mike Evans was a rookie and I had the 1.01. Sammy Watkins was the consensus number 1 overall pick. And I'm like, man, there's just something about Sammy I don't like. I don't even think he was the best wide receiver on his team. I thought DeAndre Hopkins was. So with the 1.01, knowing in my head that I thought Hopkins was better than Sammy, I took Mike Evans. And then I had the 6th overall pick. And I took DeAndre Hopkins.
There you go.
So I ended up start winning some championships after that.
Yeah.
Great. 3rd on the list, we got Randy Moss. He's got 10, and that marks off the ones that have hit double digits. Then you got Larry Fitzgerald, Terrell Owens, Tim Brown, Jimmy Smith, all with 9. Marvin Harrison, Brandon Marshall, and Reggie Wayne with 8.
So the one thing I also noticed is none of those are recent names. As far as
except for Mike
active
Evans.
Players. Yeah. So I'm curious as to what the closest is for an active player. That's probably for another episode. But even thinking about it, 1,000 yards, that's only 60 yards a game.
Yeah, it's not hard to do now. But
assuming you're playing 17 games, which I think is the big thing.
They played through concussions back then and these minor soft tissue shit.
Right.
Like, the NFL is too soft, I think, to have a wide receiver even get to the double digits again. Like,
which
even
also
Jefferson's going down, like you said, right? Like, yeah, he was on pace to crush Jerry Rice's records, but now with these last couple of years with no quarterback, he's like not even on pace anymore to get close to it.
Right. It's just crazy. Like these records, I don't think people realize how long it takes and how hard it is to get there. Like even like baseball is another one, like those home run records people talk about, like, 40 home runs is an awesome season. 30 is a really good season in today's baseball. But like you saw guys doing 60. It's just, it's a tough thing to do. Like athletes today are probably better athletes than we've ever had because of the science and technology that's going into it. Like we've talked about in the past too, like you got these schools that are strictly for athletes. Like
that's just crazy to me.
Yep.
Do you want to do top pass rushers or quarterback wide receiver current combos?
Current combos could be fun because that's also fantasy relevant.
All right. Well, let's go to that. So this one has top 5 current wide receiver quarterback rankings. One of them I completely don't agree with because this is all based off the 2025 stats, and this is done by PFN. So if we're going by 2025 stats, the 4th one they have on this list is Drake May and AJ Brown. How the fuck could they be on this list if they weren't even playing together?
That's just speculation and hype train.
Yeah, like you can't put out
you're
a friggin' ranking list and say these are based off the 2025 numbers and have no numbers and then place Drake May and AJ Brown at 4.
So did they just take AJ Brown's numbers from Jalen Hurts last year and Drake May's passing numbers from last year?
They must have, but it's not those two combined. So to me, I would have those ones completely off the list. And you don't have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase on here. Like, get the fuck out. That's who I'd replace that with. Just to start out, you kind of know because I know you can't see the list. So then at 5, we got Jared Goff and Ahmad St. Brown.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
And their grade was an 84.5.
So is that the top one then?
No, that's the lowest.
Lowest? The 5. Okay.
And then that's when they have Drake May and AJ Brown with their grade of 85.5. It's like, okay, how do you get that? Jamar Chase, there's no way you're going to convince me that Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow isn't in a 90% score.
No, and the only thing you can argue, I think, would be that they didn't play all their games together, which, okay, and AJ Brown
but
and
Drake May
didn't play one.
Played at all.
This makes me think that like some of these companies like this, like they're just hiring somebody to do social media that doesn't know anything about football. Because if you do know something,
you get
about
more
football,
clicks when it's dumber because people want to
Yeah.
see what the hell is
those-
going on here. And then even number 3, I could see it, but at the same time, I'm like, it's the wrong freaking guy. They got Dak Prescott and George Pickens with an 86.3.
Yeah, so either they're picking people to run these that aren't like big football fans, or they're just trying to make it clickbaity. Because I don't think even your casual fan, I don't think they're going to say George Pickens is better than CeeDee Lamb. Unless that's the only game they watched is the one when Lamb missed, right?
At 2, they've got Sam Darnold and JSN at 88.1.
All right.
Which, that one I can agree with.
Yeah, you can't really argue based on what JSN just did last year.
No. And then at number 1, they've got Stafford and Puka Nacua at a 91.5.
All right, MVP and another phenomenal season for Puka.
Yep, but let's get in, talk some ball.
Yes, sir.
Time for the Grape Light, where we discuss what's happening around the league.
All right, welcome to the Grape Light. Got a little bit of news for you out there, so let's get started with that. Let's see here. So the biggest news, if I can find the picture, and I think I forgot to put it out there, but Jaden Higgins done for the season. Do you remember what ACL done for the season?
Yeah, torn ACL,
which is
or they said
really sucky.
Yeah, I think they said ACL damage. Either way, it sounds like done for the season. Not good, especially with all the camp buzz he was starting to get, talking about how he was going to be a big part of the offense, and they love the work ethic he's putting in, and the timing is better, and all of this buzz that he was getting, and now he's not going to be there this year. So I guess that opens things up, but I mean, Tank Dell's still coming back from a crazy injury, so you know he's going to be on a snap count if he even gets back to the field. Like, he's on the practice field, but that's still different, right? So Jalen Noel, I think it gives him a little boost.
Well, I was thinking like Jalen Noel is my original thought, and then I got thinking, well, Noel's still a great slot guy that you're going to need, and you let Kirk go, and okay. What a freaking Aiden Hutchinson, or not
Xavier Hutchinson?
Xavier Hutchinson on the outside, because he did all right when he filled in before, but then they used him in that preseason game when they weren't playing starters. So I'm like, okay, obviously that's not the plan, and he had one catch for -1 yard. So,
oops.
I'm like, that doesn't look good to be the starter, so it must be Jalen Noel.
That's what I'm thinking. Is there even a veteran out there that you could bring in? Trying to think of because Keenan Allen and Stephon Diggs both just said. Yeah, but he's also not going to be ready till halfway through the season, based on what they're saying.
Yeah, but even that would be all right? As long as you have him for the playoffs.
Yeah, maybe, but does he fit that offense?
No, I don't think he fits those offenses. Like, he fits McDaniel's offense and Andy Reid's because they use the speed stuff.
Well, and also, D'Amico Ryans doesn't seem like the kind of guy that wants to bring in a guy like Tyreek Hill.
No, I don't think so. Just
so
locker room presence alone, right? Like, I'm just Googling top free agents left right now. Juju just got dumped. DeAndre Hopkins is still out there. Tyler Lockett.
Yeah,
not many.
No, I think you kind of
Brandon Cooks, Curtis Samuel, Zay Jones, like not much. Not much. They're just going to be stuck with what they got.
Yep, and it might be better that way.
Couple more season-ending injuries for Washington. The guy we loved last year at the IDP, Johnny Newton, defensive tackle, tore his pectoral muscles and will be out indefinitely.
Yeah, that's not good. That's a tough recovery too, but won't see him this year.
Nope, not at all.
Which is unfortunate because he was starting to make strides at the end of his rookie season there.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a great player in the NFL. Just going to have to wait another year now for that development, and it always takes at least 3-4 years for these defensive line guys just to bulk up enough to compete with the rest of them that are in, right?
Yep.
And then, as mentioned in the intro, the Chargers lost Tyler Badass for
Oh.
that. What was his, the knee injury?
Yeah, Biadasz is his knee.
ACL.
Yeah, maybe I got those backwards. Maybe his was the one that was damaged, but still sounds like he's going to miss the whole season. Where Higgins was full tear.
Yeah, Higgins is done.
Yeah.
We also had the Giants that brought in Najee Harris on a 1-year deal, and in a counter move, let go of Juju Smith-Schuster. That would have been huge friggin' fantasy news about 4 or 5 years ago. How the two Steelers have fallen from grace.
Yes, they have. And there was a lot of stories. You talked about social media, how it kind of goes crazy sometimes. This was one of the ones that went crazy with Tyrone Tracy whiffing that pass block and getting Jackson Dart blown up. People saying that they brought in Najee because he whiffed on that block so bad. But it sounds like the workout with Najee was already scheduled. But even Najee's come out and said he's not in football shape right now. So this is interesting to see how
the hell are you not in football shape?
I don't know. I don't know.
Were you not planning on playing football? Were you told your career's done? Like, you didn't have a job. You should be in shape for all these fucking tryouts.
To be fair, wasn't that always one of the arguments against Najee was how much does he really love the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not in football shape when you know you could be signed, I think that kind of sends that message, whether it's true or not. Like, if you're one of those NFL players that's looking for a team, you should always be ready to go.
Now, do you think he's worth rostering fantasy-wise?
Well, I picked him up in a couple leagues just to see what happens. Just because with new coaching staffs, you never really know what's going to happen with guys that are already on the roster. And
so you did the opposite of me.
Well, you dropped him?
I had him, picked him up to see where he would sign. Saw he signed with the Giants and went, nope. And dropped him.
Yep, that's fair. And he may end up being a drop, but that's also one of the other things I like about some of these late summer pickups is you can pick them up, and by week 1, you know whether you can keep that guy or not. Sometimes it's nice to have guys you know you can drop if there's waiver activity that you want.
Yeah. All right, we'll move on here. We got the Falcons are bringing in Zadarius Smith for a 1-year deal with all their pass rush troubles that they've had this offseason. They need the help, so they talked him out of retirement.
It'll be interesting. If nothing else, he can be a player coach, right? Try to help.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But I think they're going to have to actually need him those first 8 games, which at his age, that's if you can get 8 games out of him, great.
Oh, I agree.
Next we got here is Sam Laporta. In the game, took a hit to his hip, and now he's hurt, and they're unsure if he's going to be ready week 1. I know this one made me chuckle, Alex, because your list for our fantasy life is quickly disappearing with the injuries.
Yeah,
this week.
Yeah, not great here. With this Laporta injury too, Dan Campbell, I think, is one of those coaches you never really get. Like, you get honesty out of him about injuries, but it's usually the honesty of, I have no idea, so I'm just speculating here. We hope he's ready for week 1, but we don't know. And with Laporta and the back injury he had last year that caused him to miss games, not a great start here. Not great for Laporta.
Not at all. Then the other tight end news, George Kittle went and saw the doctor that worked on his Achilles, and he said that he's well ahead in his recovery mode. Yeah,
and the other story that came with that is that it was all good news, and it sounds like that there's a real possibility he could play week 1, which I think we kind of projected just based on what we've been seeing already in this offseason.
Hey, George has been saying all along he's going to be ready week 1, so I've never doubted him.
Some guys just heal faster.
Yep. And then this is the news of Clint Kubiak afterwards saying that he's got 1 more week to name the quarterback.
Okay. Yeah,
even
so
despite sitting Cousins, he hasn't made up his mind.
Yeah. Well, I think it's Cousins, personally, unless
I do
Mendoza
too.
Just goes out there and goes crazy.
And then in New Orleans, Alvin Kamara's to miss a month. He's got an MCL sprain. I don't think that hurts them too much because they've got ETN there now.
Yeah, that's the other part too. Was like how much work was Kamara really going to get? Veteran guy, he's going to get some. You don't have to worry about that at least for the next few weeks.
Nope. And then in Tampa Bay, Villa got his contract. Not getting traded.
So much for that trade, right?
Yep. And even he said in his press conference after signing it that he told Todd Bowles that when you retire, I retire. Or so
Yeah.
basically, and if he gets fired because he went on to say it wasn't Todd Bowles' fault, the collapse is all on the players. Like he gave us all the answers to the test. We just failed the test.
Well, we have heard that Bulls is one of those coaches that players love playing for, and we're seeing it right there. So
all defenses, all his coached teams, like mostly defenses. Obviously, he's only
right,
other than the
defensive
Jets
coach.
go. But I think it's hard to coach the Jets as a head coach.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
his teams have all loved him. So, and then Dallas and New Orleans Saints have been having some joint practices, and they had a crazy amount of fights. So much so that the NFL commissioner stepped in and fined both franchises $500,000.
Yeah, and that's not a chump change fine for what we usually see the NFL hand down.
Yeah,
so
that's one of the larger
trying to make
ones.
an example. It's also like the first ones of the year, so probably trying to make an example like, hey guys, cut this shit out.
Well, they didn't find the 49ers when they got in their fights with the Titans, and they didn't find the Jets in Tampa Bay for all their fights. So a little bit interesting. But I guess the Cowboys one was like insane.
Yeah, I mean, it made stories that we were getting headlines about it, like more so than the other ones. So maybe that's part of it. Just the image, right? NFL's got to protect their image, which is why it's so weird that Rice is not getting a suspension for going to jail.
Yeah, crazy. We got Roger Goodell was on a podcast, and he said that there will be NFL teams outside the USA. I have no doubt about that one day, which you get thinking about this, man. And I just saw this, and I never knew it. Canada hasn't had a game in like 5 years.
Okay.
So I guess the last time they came up, and I had heard there was problems with the drinking and all that sort of stuff for the tailgate parties, but there was something with the field where they forced the NFL to go down to an 80-yard field because they didn't change their fields at all. Yeah, like go look into it. And they haven't been back to Canada since. Like they were supposed to have the actual NFL field wherever they're playing. And I think it was in Hamilton. So then they showed up, obviously with their equipment. The equipment people show up like a week or two early, whatever it is.
Yeah,
right?
I got to prep the field and stuff.
The field's not ready. And they're like, what do you mean the field's not ready? So then it was like a week of fucking hell where they decided just to use pylons starting at the 80-yard line on both these fields, and that was the end zone. And they haven't been back since. So I think Canada might have ruined their chance to get an NFL team.
I mean, it's possible if that's what they were doing. I don't even know who the prime minister would have been back then. But
it wouldn't have been the prime minister. It's probably whoever was in charge of the arena field and didn't want to do it. Why would I do that? The Ticats play here. I'm like, we need the 105-yard field.
That's a weird one. That being said, I also think I understand that the NFL wants that, but because you're working with a collectively bargained entity in the players, I don't think you can actually say that there will be something. Right? Like, doesn't the union actually have a grievance here? Like, I understand he's the commissioner, but like, you're already putting in the public's mind, like, you're swaying public perception already just by saying there will be, and kind of eliminating the union's bargaining position there, right?
No, I don't think they have any say.
What? Why don't they? You're saying something that's going to be in there.
Let me put it to you this way, okay? Somewhere like Goodyear, making tires in Ohio. That was with the first Goodyear plant, right?
Yeah.
They decided they wanted to put a Goodyear plant in Canada because I just went up the road from me as well. They didn't have to get permission from the union workers at that union spot to open up the other Goodyear spot. They just hired people and added them to that union.
That's, I think, a totally different situation, though.
It's like, still a company that you're employed by.
But you're not forcing your current employees to potentially play in another country and have to move and live in another country. Where, like, if you're a tire company, you're hiring for people that already live there. You're not making your current employees move like you would be in the NFL. And that union in the tire manufacturing industry is not going to be the same level of leverage against the company that these NFL players have.
And that's where I would say you get the draft. If you get drafted by one of these teams and you don't want to go, then you just hold out for 2 years and you're into that process. You don't have to take the job. You take it because you want to be in the NFL.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think that the NFL should be making statements like that personally. Like I think the union has a case here to file a grievance against Goodell for saying that. Yeah. Now again, that's also the biting the hand that feeds, so everything has consequences. But that's where I don't think Goodell
I don't
Can't
think
say
the
that.
union would even fight it, even if they could, because that just adds more money to them, right? Because it's more advertising money, more this, more that, more team revenue sharing, which drives up the cost of all these contracts. Like that Jerome Bettis thing that I sent you. I believe I sent it to you, right? The reel where he's talking and he's like a free agent. He's like, there's 2 teams interested in me. And my agent, because the 2 teams were the Titans.
Oh yeah, the
and
Eddie George one. I didn't know who it was that was talking.
No, me neither.
But
And
yeah,
then he
I
was
did see
like,
that one.
my agent wanted me to sign with the Steelers over the Titans because then he could get his rookie that was in the draft drafted higher and therefore getting a higher contract. So he convinced me to take Pittsburgh, but I wanted Pittsburgh anyways. But then he got the most out of both of them, right? So they only care about fucking money, the union and these fucking agents.
Well, that's his agent, of course, because that's
but I'm saying the union's the same way because the players want the money.
Yeah, maybe. I also think about I think about our firefighter union, right? Like you have guys at the top that have more of an impact in decisions from the union than the guys at the bottom, and you're trying to put all those guys in the same boat. It's the same with the NFL union. Like we talked about it before when they were trying to hire a new president. Like you got the Drew Brees at the top of the league at the time making $40 million. And then you got your rookie quarterback that just got drafted hoping to take a job, and like Phillip Rivers trying to take Drew Brees' job. They have different interests. So it's hard to get them all on the same page. That's where the union has to look out for the greater good of the whole league. And that's where I think if they do it right, like that should matter. It's just like
I don't
you said,
really think it does to them. I think they're all just about money, but that's all we got for the news. Now you got the grapes, go make the wine. Next 5. Who would you rather have over the next 5 years in the NFL? All right, welcome to Next 5. This is Alex giving me 5 guys, and I've got to decide which one of them I want to take. So we're going to the safety position. Alex has the first one, Julian Love from Seattle, age 28. He's due $12 million next year, 15 the year after that. Then he'll need a new contract. Then we go to Theinman from the Bears, the rookie. Basically do $1 million every year, and then you got to pick up the 5th-year option if you want. Next one's Hufanga from the Broncos, 49er. Troy Polamalu's prodigy, we'll say. He's due $13 million, $6 million, $14 million. Then he'll need a new contract after that. Kyle Hamilton, 25 years old, due 8.7, $10 million. Then he's into his new contract at $26 million and $26 million. Then Derwin James, the guy that Jim Harbaugh says is a football god, due $51 million, $20 million, $27 million, then $27 million, which is a lot of money for a 30-year-old safety.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe that contract when I saw that with the age.
No, I gotta say I'm shocked at that contract. I didn't know it was that high. That's crazy.
Yeah, so it's safe to say if I'm picking one of these,
probably not
even though he's my favorite safety out of all these fucking guys, and if I was Jim Harbaugh, I'd probably make the same decision. But because you're not on my team yet, I am not paying that salary.
Yeah, that's just crazy. I didn't realize it was that high. $51 million this year, and you know he's gonna get it.
Oh yeah, like that's just insane money for a safety. Then we got Julian Love or Jeremiah. Julian Love.
Julian,
28. I think he's a solid safety, but I don't think he's a generational safety. So I'm going to cross him off the list as well. Because I grew up with the 49ers watching Ronnie Lott. I had been spoiled at the safety position. Unless you're a top guy, I don't want you.
Makes sense.
Which is why I said if I was Harbaugh, I'm paying Derwin James if he's on my team because I don't want him playing for anybody else. But I'm just not going to bring him into that contract. Theinman, I think he's going to be special, especially with that Bears one. But I want to see it first. Hufanga's got a specialty to him, but I don't know if he's allowed to do his free range as he was with the 49ers that gave him that Troy Polamalu type of edge.
Well, you can give him that freedom because he'd be on your team.
Oh, I could. But then that injury kind of scared me too. Like, I love Hufanga. I think he was great. But then when you look at this list, it's like, okay, Kyle Hamilton, I don't need a middle linebacker with the mic on if I got him. I can put the dot on the Kyle Hamilton. I can move him all around. If friggin' my corners are having a hard time, I can bring him down, put him on a slot wide receiver. I can put him on an outside wide receiver. He's just the most versatile guy in here that can be the quarterback of your defense. So that's who I'm going to end up with, Kyle Hamilton.
I like it. I like it. So for me, my lean was either Hamilton or the rookie and Dylan Thieneman. But I can also understand wanting to see it with Thieneman first. So I'd like the Kyle Hamilton pick. And I hate that he's a Raven. I really do, because, man, they know how to play safety or how to use that safety position. And they've just picked awesome ones, right? So it just, in that draft class, I also remember thinking, how do the Ravens keep getting these guys to fall to them? Because he was like picked 21 or something like that. He was late.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it when he was down there. I was like, what the hell? I thought he was like for sure a first half pick. You know what I mean? And I thought there was a chance he could go in the top 10. He was that good.
Yeah, same. And he just kept falling. I'm like, son, he's going to go to the Ravens. I hate it. That's where he's going to go.
Well, but that's our next 5. I end up with Kyle Hamilton of these choices. Let us know in the comments who you'd pick.
All-time matchups. We take an NFL team and we give that team's all-time lineup of anybody who's ever played for that team. Which team will win?
All right, welcome to all-time lineup, and Alex has chose to do the Patriots today. So starting at a quarterback, I don't think there's any other name than Tom Brady. If you could have thrown a name out there, I think the next one would have been, what's his name there, Drew Bledsoe. But Tom Brady stole the job from Drew Bledsoe, so it's pretty easy just to name Brady as the starting quarterback there.
Yeah.
Unless you see it some other way, but I know you put Brady down too. So, did you even see anybody you could debate?
Debate? No. Like I said, if anything, honorable mention maybe Drew Bledsoe, but he lost his job to Brady.
So. Yeah, so it just makes it easier. So basically, the all-time lineup for the Patriots starts at the running back. You got 3 names down there. I went with 2, which is Corey Dillon. What's Falk's first name there for?
Kevin Falk.
That's it. I knew it wasn't Marshall. Kevin Falk or Curtis Martin. I like Dillon, but he was only there for a year or 2. And Curtis Martin was such a friggin' powerhouse for them that's who I would end up with.
Yeah, and I'm good with that. Like I said, I was good with any 3 of these. Corey Dillon's the first name that came to mind, but it's just because that year he had there was so dominant.
Yeah, he was freaking awesome too. That didn't have a running back there until then.
Yeah.
The wide receiver position, I'm pretty safe to say we're going to take Randy Moss with that single season that he had with them. Like, there's no friggin' way. And then we get into kind of a little bit of a debate here. You've got Wes Welker and Julian Edelman both on there. I only put Edelman. I'd rather have Edelman over Welker.
See, and I figured that you would go with one of these guys, so I put both on there because I know Wes Welker also played outside sometimes, and he did the return stuff. And realistically, I'm fine with either one, and I figured we need another outside guy, and I wanted to see who you brought to the table for other outside guys.
All right. Well, I went with Edelman just because he does all that sort of stuff, and I think he's more consistent than Wes Welker. Wes Welker carved out the path for Edelman, but Edelman, to me, perfected it.
Did it a little longer, too, I think.
Yep. And my third guy, Stanley Morgan.
All right. Yeah.
Late 70s, early 80s guy. Leads all Patriot wide receivers with 13,000 yards, has 60 touchdowns. He was Mr. wide receiver for the Patriots before Randy Moss came, and Edelman and Welker. He was their big guy, so I think he would be the other guy we'd put on the outside.
Yeah, and like I said, we need another good outside guy, so I'll take that.
Yep. And then tight end, same as quarterback position.
Actually, hold on a second, because now that I'm thinking about it, Antonio Brown, didn't he play for the Patriots for a year? And if we're getting prime, I'm taking Antonio Brown.
I think you're right. Did he play or did he friggin' leave?
No, he played a couple games because Brady did pepper him at least one. I think it was actually 2 games exactly. Because then he had the issue at practice and Brady was like, all right, sorry, dude, I tried to help you. Because Brown was living with him, right? And that was how he was trying to
Tampa
get.
Bay.
I swear he played one year with the Patriots, and I think it was only 2 games.
I'm Googling it because I don't remember it at all.
Yeah, because I think it was only one or 2 games. Like it was
One
not
game.
long. Yeah.
September
Okay.
15th, 2019 versus Miami, and he had 4 receptions, 56 yards, and a touchdown.
Yep. So 1 game.
Like, see, that's where you come into which Antonio Brown are you getting? Right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're getting the Antonio Brown that the Patriots have, I want no part of him. Because that was after he left the Raiders, right, and did that whole debacle.
Yeah, because he never even stepped on the field for the Raiders. It was just a practice field. Because first it was the feet, and then it was the helmet, and then he's like, okay, well, I'm done. And then he signed with the Patriots, and everybody was like, what the fuck?
Yep, and then he didn't last too long. I would still go with Stanley Morgan, but Antonio
I
Brown in his heyday is like was the better wide receiver. Like,
for sure.
If he never took that buff hit, man, I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I mean it's also it's 1 game, so it's not like you can say that. Hey, he was somebody that the Patriots really had for a while there. You probably got to at least play a season, right?
I'd say so. At least be on the team for the whole season. Whether you make the field or not, it's a different thing.
Yeah, exactly. Injury, we can discuss that, but
I thought you were coming up with a different tight end here at the begin with because I
no,
didn't see anybody else but Gronk.
No, it's Gronk.
And then you were like, hold on, and then you mentioned Antonio Brown. So that'll bring us to the defensive side of the ball. At defensive end, you put down Richard Seymour and Chandler Jones.
Yep.
I've got Richard Seymour as well, so he's going to make the team. And then here's where we get into the same sort of problem as we did before. I've got Willie McGinnis.
Okay.
My second defensive edge, but he also played outside linebacker.
Yeah.
But I also put up one of my linebackers, Andre Tippett, who is also one of those guys.
Yeah, so flip it, put one, because I had McGinnis at outside linebacker. So if you want to move him to edge and then put Tippett at the outside linebacker, I'd be good with that too.
All right. So that would bring us, we'll skip the defensive tackle for a second. So if we got 2 of our linebackers, or one of our linebackers already in Tippett, and you got Bruschi.
Teddy Bruschi.
Teddy, that's it. I'm having friggin' problems with my tongue right now, and Jarrett Mayo. And I went Mayo and Hightower because I thought they were a fucking awesome tandem, but I'd be all right having Teddy Bruschi in there because he was solid as well.
He was. It's really just a matter of like what kind of defense do you want? Because Hightower was the one that I had on my list. I wasn't sure that he had played long enough and been dominant enough during his time. So I'd be good going either way.
Yeah, and he was only really good when he was paired up with Mayo too.
Yeah, and if Mayo's making the team, then you know that that's a good tandem there. So it's really just a matter of what kind of defense you want.
We'll go with Tippett, Bruschi, and Mayo. Oh, God, I'm having a hard time saying his name today. And then we'll switch back to the defensive tackle position. We both have Vince Wilfork. No way it's not going to be him.
Yeah.
You got some guy on here. L guy.
Lawrence Guy.
Lawrence Guy.
Yeah.
And I went with Houston Antoine.
Okay.
Late 70s, early 80s, just dominated. 6 Pro Bowls, 4 All-Pros, like led this, like one Rookie of the Year at the time too. Like,
so as long as Vince Wilfork's in there, I don't really care who the other one is. So
yeah,
I'm fine
Vince
going either way there.
To me, it still drives me like nuts thinking about him and Randy Moss. Every Friday practice afternoon, Vince Wilfork would be the wide receiver and Randy Moss would be the cornerback. And he said he'd always say, he says all the time, Randy Moss couldn't cover me.
Man.
And then I saw Vince talking about why he retired when he did, because he retired a little bit early. He was still dominant. He says he couldn't stand the kids coming in the locker room anymore. They would come in from practice, just drop their shit on the floor, and then they would leave without even showering after practice.
Yeah,
he's like, the culture changed too much. I had to leave.
I think, didn't he talk about that like in a regular media interview? It was like a short thing. Yeah, I don't like because that was even before like podcasts really took off. Imagine if we had gotten Vince Wilfork on a podcast, all the kind of stuff we'd have heard.
Oh, it would have been hilarious.
Been great.
So that brings us to the cornerback position. Mm-hmm. We both have Ty Law and Steph Gilmore.
Yeah, you can't really beat those two.
You know what I found though, man? I can make debates on a bunch of other people, but these are still the two that I laid down on. There've been a lot of good cornerbacks that have played for the Patriots.
They really have, and like
McCourty. There's a bunch of other people, man. I just can't think of them right now. But there was about 5 guys I could have picked from.
Yeah, I mean, you could even throw Christian Gonzalez in there if you want to go more modern. They had I think at one point they had Dre Bly with that Ty Law backfield where they had a bunch of guys in that secondary.
That's what really impressed me of them. So at the cornerback position, we both have Asante Samuel Sr. You've got Devin McCourty. I've got Rodney Harrison with Patrick Chung as like an honorable mention.
See, Chung is one that I had as an honorable mention. Rodney Harrison was one that I thought about putting in there. I just went the other route with Asante Samuel and why am I drawing a blank on the other name?
Devin McCourty?
Yeah, Devin McCourty. McCourty, for me, it was the smarts and just the way that he ran that defense, because that's one of the things I also like about the safety position. Like we talked about with Kyle Hamilton, give me that guy that can be that captain and run my defense.
All right. Well, we'll end with him. So here's what our all-time New England Patriots look like. We're going to have Tom Brady at quarterback. Obviously, there's no other answer there. Running back, we settled on Curtis Martin. Our 3 wide receiver set, we got Randy Moss on the outside with Stanley Morgan on the other and Julian Edelman working the slot. And we got Gronk at tight end. No debate there whatsoever with that position. Right. Then we move over to the defensive edge position. We got Richard Seymour and Willis McGinnis. Defensive tackle, Vince Wilforth and Houston Antoine. At linebacker, we got Andre Tippett, Mayo, and Bruschi. Cornerback, we got Ty Law, Stephon Gilmore, and at safety, Asante Samuel and Devin McCourty for your all-time New England Patriots by the Fantasy Blind Spot.
Fantasy Light.
All right, welcome to Fantasy Light. Today we are going to be talking about our favorite picks per round. So we'll call up Alex's list here. So
I gotta say too, before we get too far into it, I did make this list last week. So some of these draft spots have changed, and like we hinted at earlier, there's been injuries on my list. So
yeah, I did change your round 10 from Jaden Higgins to somebody else that I thought you would have. So you won't see Higgins on the list, but he was on Alex's original list. I made we'll call it managerial decision for who your guy would be for there. But I think I think it's I think it's who you'd replace it.
Okay. All right, we'll see.
Otherwise, I would ask you. So round 1, you got Amon St. Brown's as your favorite target. Round 1.
Yep, he's in that 4 to 6 range. I just think the value there, you can't really beat it. Obviously, I'd like to have Gibbs or Bijan, but you got to have the 1 or 2 pick for those guys.
Well, and Gibbs or Bijan, there's not really any value that you're getting from that pick. That's just where they should go, right? Like they shouldn't fall outside the top. So you're looking for the best values per round here. Round 2, you got Omar Hampton.
Yep, I like that value too. He's at the time I made this, he was like mid to late second. I think he's creeping up to the early second now. Yeah, but who knows with that center injury for Biadasz, maybe he slides. You get a little better value.
Well, round 3, you got Malik Nabers.
Yeah, being healthy now, he's on the practice field. I think we might even see him in a preseason game. He's just, I mean, the sky's the limit, right, with him and Dart.
Yep. Round 4, you got ETN of the Saints.
Yeah, and that value might even, well, that might not be a value in the 4th round anymore. With the Kamara injury, we'll see if he climbs.
Yeah, I don't think the Kamara injury will do much to him because I think Kamara's just the change of pace guy. Round 5, you got 3 guys that you like in round 5: Tyler Warren, Joe Burrows, and Drake May.
Yeah, so this is a matter of, do I want to go quarterback here if one of those guys is there, or do I want to go Tyler Warren? Or Colson Loveland's another one here in the round 4. Or, well, no, he's in round 4, I think.
Creeping up to 3. Yeah, he's earlier. 2's Bowers, 3 is Loveland, and then
that's it.
4 or 5 is where Warren tends to go. Round 6, you got Brian Thomas Jr. of the Jaguars.
And this is one, like, all that hype following Parker Washington, the draft capital difference, like, has to matter. I don't think you can have a guy with the talent and skill set of Brian Thomas Jr. and then not make him the focus of your receiver core. So give me him in the 6th. I love it as your third receiver.
Oh, I like it. Round 7, you got two guys in Ramondre Stevenson of the Patriots and Sam Laporta of the Lions, who is now possibly missing week 1.
Yeah, so go ahead and wipe Laporta off that list there. But Ramondre Stevenson, I think even later in some drafts, you could see him in the 8th, 9th round, but I'm willing to get him in the 7th because I still think that what we saw in the playoffs, I love Henderson, but it's that pass blocking. Like, has he proven it? And with what we saw from Stevenson last year, I still think it's 50-50 timeshare. Give me Stevenson because I think he's going to be at the goal line.
All right. Then round 8, you got Quentin Johnson of the Chargers, who I also fooled around with putting him in there, but I just couldn't do it.
You didn't? No.
No.
So I just mentioned Parker Washington and the hype surrounding him with the last 4 games he put together. What's crazy is if you compare it to the first 4 games of Quentin Johnston, there's like a 20-yard difference. That's it. 22 catches. Johnston was, I think, 370 yards, and Washington was 400, and they each had 4 touchdowns. So this is one of those things. When's it happen in the season determines how we feel about guys. And like we say about this Chargers offense, if that offensive line is healthy, I think they take a big step with McDaniel coming in.
Then your next guy is Rico Dowdle, who I've been drafting in the 9th round for quite some time. But his ADP is finally caught up to where I've been drafting him.
Yep. And I love this value too. Yeah, and I think that this is Dowdle's job. Like we talked about in the past, I'm just not sure what Jaylen Warren does better. Maybe a little faster. And maybe it just comes down to endurance. But I think after what we saw from Dowdle for that 3-game stretch, and then he kind of seemed to gas as the season went on, I think that he's going to take over this job, better pass blocker, and that's what Rodgers is going to want in that backfield. So give me that 9th round value on Rico Dowdle.
All right, now we're into the 10th round. Let's see if I got this right for your Jaden Higgins replacement.
All right.
Michael Pittman of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yep, that one could work. And what's interesting about it is if you look at his numbers from last year, they actually match quite closely with, who am I thinking of? Keenan Allen, actually, with the Chargers, who led the team in targets, which is kind of crazy to think about. Led the team in targets and receptions last year for the Chargers. I think Michael Pittman could do that for the Steelers this year. And I think that the Steelers are going to pass more.
Oh, I think they're going to pass more too, but I think they're going to feed DK like crazy.
Yeah, that's where it's just going to be which one, right? So call your shot. In 10th round, I'll take
We'll switch over to my list. We've got some contradictions with each other.
Right.
Same team, different players. Right. So round 1 for me, I've got 2 guys, Ahmad St. Brown, CeeDee Lamb. I think they're the 2 best values there.
Yeah,
if you miss out on those top 4 guys, like with Jamar Chase, JSN, even top 5 guys, like this is excellent value for these guys because I can even see somebody taking them in the top 5.
Yep.
Round 2, totally agree with you. Omar Hampton, he's the guy with the best value in round 2, especially if you can get him in the middle of the round to the later of the round.
Yep.
Round 3, I agree with Malik Nabers. I got him on here. I also got Colson Loveland, who I would take.
Yep.
Just get one of those top tight ends and pretty early round, and you're not wasting on round 2 for Bowers, which is pretty high to take a tight end.
Yep.
Round 4, I have ETN of the Saints as well. I think he's just going to get fed, or Breece Hall. If I can come away in round 4 with one of those 2 guys, if I miss my running back in the first round, I'm friggin' happy.
I like Breece Hall too. My hesitation was just with a groin injury. I don't love injury before the season.
But I'm hoping he comes out from it. We'll see. Round 5, I've got Ladd McConkey of the Chargers. I just think he's going to have a big role this year, and they're going to pass a lot more too now with those 2 tackles back.
Yeah,
I think that was one of the reasons why they went to more of a run style game last year. And then we get into a 3-round stretch here of wide receivers that I like, because round 6 I got DK Metcalf, man.
Okay,
I'm going to take the chance on him with everything Mike McCarthy's saying, everything that's happening in those Steelers practice with moving him around and like using him like CeeDee Lamb. The guy's got the physical skill set to do it. So now that he's finally getting the chance to be an all-around wide receiver, I want part of that. So I'm going DK in round 6.
I hope you're right as a Steelers fan.
Round 7, there's no way I'm passing on Marvin Harrison Jr. if he's there in the round 7. And I'm just going to hope that he finally lives up to his potential, because he hasn't really he showed promise, but he hasn't shown anything where he's like a must-have guy. But I think to me, he's a must-have guy.
There's been those flashes, right?
Yeah.
So you see a game or two here or there, or a play.
Then round 8, I got Trayvon Henderson of the Patriots. I'd rather have him over Stevenson because I think he's the future there, and anytime he touches the ball, he can take it to the house. Round 9.
I just haven't seen him falling that late. Otherwise, I'd like that value if he was in the 8th, but I've been seeing him in the 4th and 5th, which to me is crazy.
Yeah, seasonal, he's going down around with round 8 though, and that's kind of what I lean more towards seasonal right now because we're in that kind of phase. Round 9 is Rico. It hasn't switched for me all summer. He's been there, and I'm like that. This fucking guy is going to win this job. He is Mike McCarthy's freaking guy. He worked freaking brilliant in Dallas, and he brought him over for a reason. So I'm going Rico. And if I have Rico with Breece Hall or ETN, I am more than happy with my running backs, especially if I got Hampton as well.
Well, and if you do that, look like we're talking about, look at all the values at receivers in those other rounds.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of wide receiver value. If you just take what's best available, you can put together a pretty good team. And then round 10, my final spot, a guy that I thought was going to be the top rookie, going to be up for Offensive Rookie of the Year, KC Concepcion.
All right. I thought you might go Ted Hurst there.
No, I think KC Concepcion's going to be – I think it's between him and Ted Hurst.
Yeah, you got to love the usage that you saw from him in that first Browns preseason game, too. Moving him all over the field, getting him easy looks, getting him deep looks.
Yeah, which is what they're doing with DK. You need one of those wide receivers now. But that's our top values per round for fantasy.
Camp battles. Who's going to come out the victor?
Ben.
All right. Welcome to Camp Battles. We got our intro this week, so we're all good, and we're just going to update what we've been watching basically in these camp battles. So obviously we'll start with the Cleveland Browns quarterback room, since that's the one that everybody seems to be watching. Shedeur Sanders versus Deshaun Watson. We're going to see Shedeur Sanders get the starting job this weekend when the Browns preseason game. We saw Deshaun Watson start already, and nothing impressed me other than, you were a great game manager, but I don't want to see any style of game management in these preseason games. I want to see you push it, you throw an interception. I don't care. So I think Deshaun Watson hurt himself more in that game than he did any good.
Well, I think that you're one of the more rational people, because if you listen to media talk, it sounds like Watson is like running away with it. And they're even setting it up like, okay, well, Shedeur's, he's starting this weekend, but he's also not getting the starting offensive line, just like we saw with Fernando Mendoza. You're getting all the backups. So you're already setting him up for a more difficult time to try to actually make that starting leap. This to me, I'm not a Browns fan, but this organization, even looking at it logically, it doesn't make sense. Why are you going to start the guy that you know is not your future when you've got a guy that you drafted? And you also have 2 first-round picks next year. So your best opportunity is for Shedeur to win the job and then give him 2 first-round picks that aren't quarterbacks next year. That sets up your team better because you're now getting a starting quarterback with a lesser asset instead of, okay, let's just pay this guy a bunch of money and he's already quit on the team once during the game, right? Like, at least for a play. But I don't know. And one thing, listening to like the beat reports coming out of there, is that at the very least, it does seem like the team is playing for both guys. They haven't quit on one guy yet, which is something we also see in these QB competitions, right? Like the team knows, oh, this guy's better, so we want him. We're not going to play as hard for the other guy.
And even if you are the Browns and you're the GM and all that sort of stuff, and you're like, we got these 2 first-round picks. Let's get the first overall pick. You go with Shedeur Sanders all year. Like you said, right? If he doesn't work out, great. We got the first overall pick. We are going to pick our quarterback of the future again. We're not going to trade him early like we did with Baker. We're going to keep this guy and see how he develops. Or Shedeur balls out, and you've got 2 later first-round picks, which you can then add different pieces around and start working on that offensive line to protect them more.
Yeah. I mean, either way you look at it, it seems like you should be going with the young guy here, because that contract from Watson is already like one of the worst of all time, right? He's gotten, I think, 6 games over the last 2 seasons.
And they've tried being him as the starter every year that he's been there, and he's just been garbage. So at this point, you need to be like, are you insane? Shoot yourself in the foot, start him again, because that's what insanity is, doing the same thing again and again, expecting different results. You're not going to get a different result putting Deshaun Watson in there, but you might put Shedeur Sanders in there. But even if you don't get the different result, you're going to get the same result you get with Sanders. A shitty season, you're going to end up with the first overall pick. So it just amazes to me how dumb the Browns can fuck up an easy decision.
I mean, luckily, I guess luckily, if you're a Browns fan, they haven't technically fucked it up yet because they haven't named one. But right now, it's looking like, even with outside media and all of that, national media seems to be pointing to it's going to be Watson. So just prepare yourselves, because I don't think anybody wants that.
Just stupidness. We also got the other quarterback battle going on in Vegas. We talked about it on the show a little bit. Really seems like Kirk Cousins is going to be the week 1 starter, and then week 6, 7, 8 is probably when they'll bring in Mendoza. Even listen to Mendoza's in his press conferences, and he talked about after his first game where he's like, "It's really great I got out there. I could see things I needed to work on right away, and I could start working on it. And I learned that there's a lot more I need to learn before I'm ready in the NFL."
Yep, I can see it.
I like hearing, because that means, okay, you're smart enough to recognize you're not ready yet, and you know what you got to work on to get ready.
Well, and to be fair, that is one of the things that was like endearing, I guess, for Mendoza, is like, I think he's going to be awesome in interviews, because he already has been. And you know he's going to say what he feels and what he thinks, which is refreshing for some of these guys we see.
And then Tua, that quarterback battle in Atlanta, Tua's sinking himself, man. He had that horrible game, which he was absolute dog shit. And have you seen him in practice all this week? Even in those joint practices, man, he threw like 6 interceptions.
That's not good.
Nope. He just
still learning the offense.
Penix is pulling ahead, and he can't even play.
Which is kind of just crazy to think about, right?
Yep.
It's still early. We'll see. Like you just said, you want to see guys trying to make throws that they wouldn't necessarily make in a game. Maybe that's what Tua's doing.
Yeah. Well, no, some of these picks that I saw in this joint practice, I think they were playing the Colts. It's a blue team anyways. Went to throw it to Drake London on Drake ran 7 yards out and then a cut route to the edge, like an out route. Went to throw it. And even before he started throwing it, I'm like, oh, here comes down the cornerback. Don't throw the ball. And he threw it right into the numbers of the cornerback. The ball wasn't even anywhere near Drake London. It was just like, this is so bad. One that is developing that I started to watch is in Baltimore with Jacoby Lane, because I think he's putting on a case where he can push for Bateman as that YR2 spot.
I agree with you on this one. And going into the draft and even coming out of the draft, I think you and I were both on Elijah Surratt over Jacoby Lane. It seems like that's kind of switching, where Lane already has the rapport.
Doing well too.
Yeah, and that's a good problem to have, right?
Yep.
More receivers,
especially when it's been your weakness for years. Now you've got 2 guys, which I think both guys right now are playing better than Rashad Bateman has. But I think you can put Jacoby Lane over to the wide receiver 1, move Zay Flowers to the wide receiver 2, and go like that.
I think Zay's probably still there 1, just because.
Oh, for sure he is.
Yeah, what he did last year and all that kind of stuff. But I think that Lane is an awesome compliment to him, because one thing we talk about with Zay is his size, right? He's 5'11". Well, Jacoby Lane's like 6'4". Flowers is bigger than that.
No.
I'm pretty sure he is. I think he's 5'11". Either way, Jacoby Lane's a bigger guy, and even at USC, he was a big red zone threat. With was it 2 years ago? He had a 12 touchdown season. Last year was less.
ESPN has Zay Flowers listed at 5'9" from the combine.
I could have sworn he was 5'10", 5'11".
No, if he was 5'10", 5'11", I'd like him a little bit, kind of like Odell. Like 5'11" is my low limit on wide receivers. You go below that, I don't want to touch you.
Yeah. Well,
so that's the only reason I'd move him over to wide receiver 2. Not that I would switch any of his plays or whatever. I'd just redesign them so they flip. But I'd have teams more worried about Jacoby Lane in that X role than I would Zay Flowers, because Zay Flowers, if he can get that one-on-one coverage, if Jacoby Lane continues to do what he does, like, it's just going to move Zay Flowers to that next level.
Yep. That's again one of the reasons, like, I hate to say it, but I am interested to see what Declan Doyle does with this Ravens offense.
And then I got a couple battles I've been watching in Pittsburgh. One, Rico seems to be slowly creeping away with that starting job, so I'm kind of like that one. But have you been watching the right tackle position at all between Dalvin Cook and Max Ihamaker, the rookie?
Ionicher. No, I have not.
Yeah, Ionicher is making a push for that starting job there.
Well, that's great because if he gets it, that means he's playing really well.
Yep.
And
so a couple things to watch there from Pittsburgh for the run game.
Yeah, and that like you're talking about, I think we're going to pass more just because that seems to be what McCarthy does and play fast. And you could play faster passing than you can running. But that right tackle position is going to be big for the run game. Either way you look at it.
Yep.
That's your big mover, right?
Yep.
So
these are the camp battles that me and Alex are watching heading into week 2 of the weekend for the preseason.
Prediction time. What do we see? How do we see it? Do we see the future or do we not?
All right, welcome to our prediction segment. Today we're going to be talking about the AFC East team, and next week we'll be moving on to the West, and that'll be wrap up our predictions segment. So let's call up Alex's predictions for the AFC East. So we have nothing the same today, Alex.
all right.
Like we have the running back, wide receivers are the same, but other than that, everything else is different.
That
so at first, you've got the Bills. Second, you got the Patriots. Third, you got the Jets. And fourth, you have the Dolphins.
Yep. So Patriots, it's tough to lose the Super Bowl. And there's always that Super Bowl hangover seems to be the team that lost the Super Bowl, not always the team that won it. I do think the Patriots made a big jump in adding A.J. Brown and Romeo Doubs to the offense. So I think that the pass volume could go up. And I think the team overall is going to be better. I think this is going to come down to the last couple of weeks of the season between these two teams. If it comes down to it, give me Josh Allen. He's done it longer. And I think that if they add James Cook to the passing game a little more, the addition of DJ Moore, geez, my tongue's not working now.
DJ Macaro sounds a lot better, though.
Yeah, right?
I think your DJ name.
Yeah, right. I think adding DJ Moore will help there, giving Josh Allen that extra guy that when he does scramble to make room, DJ Moore is going to find that open space. And Dobbs is going to be that guy that can add to that Khalil Shakir role a little more and give him a little more volume. So give me the Bills. And then towards the bottom of the division at like Dolphins, there's a chance that we're all wrong and we're just way too low on the Dolphins. It's just really hard to convince yourself of a story where they don't finish last.
Man, I don't see how they finish even higher than third, but and I had to fight to get them there. We'll go over the positions here. So your top quarterback, you got Josh Allen of the Bills. Top running back, James Cook of the Bills. Top wide receiver, A.J. Brown of the Patriots. Top tight end, Dalton Kincaid of the Bills. And your top rookie, Caleb Douglas of the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, just because somebody has to catch passes there other than Devon Achane. And even with Achane, like Malik Willis is that running quarterback. So unless they're designing everything to Achane, I don't think he's going to get those dump offs he was getting from Tua last year.
What's your thoughts on Kincaid here? Because I was surprised to see him on your tight end list.
I don't love the other tight ends in the division.
Yeah, it was hard picking one.
Yeah, for Miami, I just is it going to be Greg Dulcich? He's had so many opportunities. I don't think that it's different with Malik Willis at quarterback. With the Jets, I would like Sadiq, but he's already dealing with injury, right? Is he back on the practice field yet? And he's also a rookie, so it's hard for a rookie tight end to make that big of an impact right away. And with the Patriots, is it really going to be Hunter Henry? Because I think if you could throw it to Hunter Henry or A.J. Brown and Romeo Doubs, I'm going to the receivers every time. So it's kind of just process of elimination for me.
That's basically how I got to mine. I just got to a different name.
All right, so
we'll hop over to my list here. So for me, I've got the Patriots finishing first again in that division.
Okay.
I've got the Bills finishing second. I've got the Dolphins finishing above the Jets. Just solely based on I think the Jets are going to, obviously the Jets and the Dolphins are both going to struggle early in the season. But I think the Jets ownership is going to get involved and start meddling their noses in Aaron Glenn's friggin' plans, and it's going to throw off Aaron Glenn's plans so much that it's just going to derail that locker room, and that's how I think the Jets are going to finish last because of Woody Johnson.
I could see it. And
Yep.
that's the other thing we talked about with the Jets too, is last year was Aaron Glenn's first year, and then you fire both coordinators after your first year. That's not typically a good sign.
No, that's Woody Johnson pressuring you, saying, what's going on here? Blah, 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 blah. No, I have the wrong guys, just covering up your job, right? So going over to the quarterback positions, I got my best quarterback as Drake May of the Patriots. So we're a little
I
different
almost went
there.
there too.
Yeah. Running back and wide receivers, or my running back is the same as yours, James Cook. I went with a different wide receiver and DJ Moore for the Buffalo Bills because I think he's going to have a fantastic year with Josh Allen.
I can see it.
Tight end, process of elimination, but just like you, and like, who the hell could this be? And I come between this guy and Dalton Kincaid, but I ended up landing on Hunter Henry for the Patriots.
Okay. Pan out that way is touchdowns, right? I think
Yep.
Hunter Henry could get more touchdowns. So really at the tight end position, that's kind of the prediction anyway, right?
Yep. And then my top rookie, again, process of elimination, I went Khalil Sadiq. I thought about Omar Cooper, but I'm like, no, Gino's there. He only really supports one pass catcher and a tight end. So, and then I thought about Caleb Douglas, but I'm like, they haven't even put out that yet. It's too early to try to put one of these Dolphin rookie wide receivers on. So that's how I ended up with Sadiq. I'm not saying go out and get Sadiq for the season, but by process of elimination, I just think he's going to have the best rookie season in this division.
Yep. I could see it. And one thing I've noticed, especially with myself and a lot of fantasy players, is like when you have guys on your team, you tend to like them better, right? Because they're on your team, and you have a lot more Sadiq than I do. So it's also possible that that's why. Well, I think that's 2 more than I have. So,
and I regret drafting him in the 2 that I did,
which is interesting. Like I also thought about Amari Cooper there, or Omar Cooper, not Amari Cooper. Blast from past a little bit.
Yeah, that's going to come in my head all fucking season now.
Sorry. Yeah, I thought about him too, but like you said, Geno Smith typically only supports one guy, and I think that's going to be Garrett Wilson. And if there is a second guy, that Sadiq touchdowns, I think, are going to be more than Cooper. So it's really, like you said, predicting touchdowns. It's hard to do.
Well, that wraps up our show and our AFC East predictions. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and see you next time.
Have a good one.